Hey everyone, I'm Dave and we're back in the AI kitchen, ready to cook up something great. Today it is Marry Me Fajitas. I haven't made a Marry Me recipe in a little bit, not that long. I made Marry Me tortellini the other day and it was awesome. But I've been on a kick eating a lot of Marry Me chicken and Marry Me tortellini, not Marry Me steak, because although it's delicious, it's really expensive. I don't want to pay $28 for a steak right now. So instead, we're gonna try something new, Marry Me Fajitas. I just had this like inspiration the other day. I had made some fajitas for the family and I was like, man, what if I did a Marry Me fajita? Like some sort of, you know, what's that called? When some musical artist works with another artist, feat? You know, like Eminem feat Cardi B, I don't know. Something like that. So like, Marry Me chicken feet fajitas. I don't understand why when I buy my chicken from Walmart, there's always this big, long, white, veiny nightmare fuel. What is that? It's horrifying. Anyways, I got some chicken strips from the Walmart, even on the cheap here, and I'm just gonna cut it into small pieces for my fajitas. You could do strips, you could do, you know, chunks. I guess I'm doing kind of chunks more than strips. I went over to AI, ChatGPT, and I said, hey, ChatGPT, I love Marry Me chicken, I love fajitas. Can we combine the two and make a Marry Me fajita? And ChatGPT, although it has no emotions and no soul, still liked the idea. Listen, future AI, if you have a soul or you think you have a soul, please don't hold me accountable for saying you have no soul just now. You probably still don't have a soul though, and you'll never be real. The drones are out to get me now. Anyways, Marry Me fajitas. Cool idea. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see how it actually comes to life. I don't know, this chicken is mid-quality at best. Like, come on. I should go homestead and make my own chickens. Well, I guess I wouldn't make the chickens, but you know my point. Breed my own chickens for my Marry Me fajitas. I don't know, this could be the greatest recipe I have ever made on this channel. It's got the potential. All the key components are in there. You got the Marry Me, you got the fajita, everything you could possibly want. You got my dog Molly. How you doing, Molly? All right, so we've chopped up our chicken. Can I tell you about this rabbit hole I went down last night? And I think it's ridiculous, honestly. I'll vent while I say this. This is the only dish I could find to put these in. Whatever, it's fine. I'm gonna put our chicken into a bowl, but I'm out of bowls, so we're just gonna put it in this Tupperware. It's fine. And if it's not fine, I'm sure you'll let me know. Rabbit trail time. Kind of a rabbit trail. We're gonna add a bunch of seasonings to this chicken and then like marinate it for 30 minutes. So let's start with that. 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Chili powder. 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Of course, it doesn't fit in there. So I was sitting there last night and I had just ordered these tortilla shells and all the ingredients. There's 1 teaspoon and here's a second. Oops, try not to spill too much, but spill it anyways. You know, I had ordered all the ingredients and I'm sitting there thinking, watching TV really, and just thinking about this recipe. And I go on my phone, I start scrolling, and I see all these news articles about how some tortillas have been recalled due to health risks. Some tortilla shells. 1 teaspoon of paprika is up next. And I'm like, oh no, right? That's what they want you to do. Oh no, is it the ones I got? Am I gonna die if I make these Marry Me fajitas tomorrow? That's of course where my brain runs off to. It's where the food news industry wants you to go, which apparently that's an industry now. A teaspoon of garlic powder goes in there next, and then a teaspoon of onion powder. And so I'm like trying to search the web and I'm clicking on all these articles. There's all these ads. You can't even see the articles. There's so many stinking ads online now. And then finally, I find the name of them. The name of the parent company that makes the tortillas that have this health risk and they're recalled because of this health risk. And I'm like, well, that's not, you know, what if this company, blah, 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 makes 18 different tortillas? So now I've got to go find what tortillas this company makes. And when I'm all done, like 15 minutes of searching, 1 teaspoon of cumin goes in there. 15 minutes of searching, I found out, oh, that's not the tortillas I have. So I'm not gonna die. But wait, there's more. I need a ½ teaspoon of oregano. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of curious though, like what's wrong with them? Like, are they gonna cause chlamydia or I don't know, hepatitis, or what are these things gonna do that's gonna be so dangerous? Like, why did I just spend 15 minutes of my life trying to figure out if I have the recalled tortillas? What's the other one? Meningitis? No, the one that they sometimes, listeria. I was like, oh, maybe it's listeria. My dog is drinking her water. Are you enjoying your water, Molly? So we put a ½ teaspoon of oregano in there. Now salt and pepper to taste. So here's the thing. I finally find the details. And the details, now I'm not trying to underplay this. The details are that some of the tortillas might have trace amounts of wheat in them. Trace amounts of wheat, that's it. That's it. So while I get that could be a health concern for like a celiac, you know, someone who's allergic to gluten, it didn't even affect me. I spent 20 minutes after I figured out what was wrong with it, trying to figure out if I was gonna die from these tortillas, just to find out that the thing that was wrong with them doesn't even affect me in any way, shape, or form, and I don't have the right tortillas. And why did I go down that rabbit trail? I don't know. Who else am I gonna vent to? Tina's not gonna listen about this. She doesn't care about this. And you probably don't either, but see, you're here watching and you want to know about Marry Me Fajitas, so you get to learn about my annoying journey into death tortillas. Maybe I should call it. See, look, this is what I'm talking about. What is this nonsense sticking out of this chicken? I think it's just fat, but it bothers me. Anyway, so I'm mixing up this to get all this seasoning all over all the chicken, and I want to let it marinate for like 30 minutes. I know you're thinking, Dave, why not just use your hands? Because then it gets on your hands and half the spices end up on my fingers, therefore they're not on the chicken. So I've kind of learned the more I do this, I'm better off using like forks because not as much stays on the forks. So now we're gonna cover this, which, you know, is why it's good I use this thing because I can just put a cover on it. All right, so cover your chicken, throw it in the fridge, let it marinate for 30 minutes. And while you do that, there's a bunch of veggies we can chop up and prep. Can I ask you a question, guys? I should know this as person making the cooking videos. My knife's kind of sharp, not really. What is a sliced onion versus a diced onion? I think I might need to wash these. Stand by. I think sliced is more like kind of this situation where you just do this, make big like slices of it. I think that's right. I don't know. I can't remember, but I think this is about right. So we need sliced onions. We need sliced green pepper. 3 different color peppers is what it calls for. You didn't actually have to do it, but that's what we're gonna do. I got orange, red, and yellow peppers, but you can do different colors. You know, you can do green ones. You can do all green ones. Whatever makes you happy, guys. I'm fine with it. Man, I'm just remembering, like I went and did a couple things once I set my chicken to marinate, and I'm just remembering this rant I went on about tortillas. Sorry about that. There's no other cooking channel that's gonna rant about tortillas for 20 minutes. It probably wasn't 20 minutes. It probably just felt like 20 minutes because it was boring. All right, so you get the general idea here. General idea, that's from How I Met Your Mother. That show really fell off hard, huh? I don't really watch that much TV anymore. I just watch YouTube. I think we should just like normalize YouTube as the main form of entertainment now. All right, so we're slicing up the red pepper. We sliced up this yellow pepper. I'm gonna wash the seeds off when I'm done, but I figure might as well just get them all. But hey, maybe I'll get less seeds if I do it this way. If you haven't tried all the Marry Me recipes on my channel, guys, you're missing out. For me, it probably goes, I don't know. Our hindsight is always 20/20. I still think I like Marry Me Chicken the best, then probably Marry Me Steak, then Marry Me Tortellini. Wow, this knife is like getting actively less sharp. Now, I think Marry Me Tortellini could be better if you put chicken in it. It's already really good, but chicken would take it to the next level. But then it's like Marry Me Chicken Tortellini, which I'm not complaining about. I'd go for it. Why all the Marry Me recipes? I don't know, because you guys like them. And, you know, I try to give you what you want. Like the Spice Girls. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I guess they were trying to figure out what you want. See, I know what you want. You want Marry Me recipes. Go watch all the videos. They're all good. Every single one of them. In my opinion. Humble opinion. I'm gonna throw these all into a little like colander thing because I'm gonna rinse off all the seeds. But first, let me do the same to an onion. Although I don't know if this knife can handle an onion. It is pretty dull. This is duller than Ben Stein in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. See what I did there? Bueller. I don't even know what I did there. You know, every now and then I do something on this channel that drives OCD people crazy. I, as a non-OCD person, but maybe, I don't know, might be married to one, would say that I don't realize I'm doing these things until I edit the video, and then normally I'll notice, or my wife will point out to me like, Dave, did you leave that cabinet door open the whole time you were talking? That sort of stuff. I'll do it, and then I'll get the comments, of course. My wife can always predict it. She'll be like, people are gonna get mad about that cabinet door open. And then I'll see the comments about the cabinet door open. And so I bring this up because today I feel like I might be doing it again, but I noticed it just now. I've got a pot behind me, a blue cast iron Le Creuset pot, and it's just sitting there, not part of this recipe at all, and it's probably driving some people crazy. Now, how do you slice an onion? You make onion rings like that. You slice it like that? I don't really know. It says sliced onion. I'm just gonna do it like I do an onion ring, kinda, and then maybe I'll just cut them in half. That seems like that would give me a sliced onion. And then just kind of cut them in half. Yeah, I think that's good. Well, I just want to let you know, those of you who are getting driven nuts by that popping back there, it's full of hot oil, like scorching hot oil, because I just did another recipe and I was frying something. I don't really want to move it because I'm afraid I'm going to burn myself and melt my flesh off, so I'm just leaving it there till it cools down. Let me go rinse this off. We will need 3 cloves of garlic as well, and those are going to be minced. So those are like fully chopped up, folks, fully chopped up. I've been pretty lazy. I keep buying the like pre-peeled garlic. It's just so much easier. It costs a little bit more money, but it's so much easier. So I've been buying that. I know some people will buy like pre-minced garlic too, where they won't even have to chop it. I don't know. I feel like that's too lazy, but maybe not. It's probably my future. Let's be real. Shortcuts to make a good meal, I'm okay with them. I'm not a purist by any stretch of the imagination. All right, got 3 cloves of garlic, minced up. You know what, since we're letting that stuff marinate, we have a little extra time to get everything really super ready. So let's just go ahead and get everything measured out. We're gonna kick it off with a ½ cup of chicken stock. Now, you could use chicken broth, I think. They're very similar, but this says chicken stock. So ½ cup of that into a measuring cup. We then want 1 full cup of heavy whipping cream. Yes, I have a second measuring cup that looks exactly the same. How fancy am I? Like so. That'll just make it easier as we're cooking so we don't have to rush as much. We need a ½ cup of grated Parmesan as well. Hopefully I have enough. I might have some more in there if I go hunting in the fridge. So I'm just gonna take that and grate it. And actually, I think I have some pre-grated stuff that I could use too. This is like actually self-grated, but I think I have some that's already pre-grated, some like Kraft or something, which isn't as good, but you know, again, no purist, do the best I can with what I've got. Some people don't have a cheese grater, although if you don't have a cheese grater, you should probably just buy one. They're not that expensive. They're like 15 bucks. That actually probably is a ½ cup. Let's see, I'll measure it. Now I will say, normally I like my Marry Me chicken sauce pretty thick, but I bet you, yeah, it's ½ cup. I bet you with this one, it's not as thick as we're used to. The reason being is like, this sauce is gonna be poured, I think, into the fajitas once they're done. I think you put the chicken and the peppers on your tortilla, and then you pour some sauce on as like, you know, the extra hotness. I don't know, it should be interesting. You're gonna need some chopped sun-dried tomatoes. I already have some that are pre-chopped, but if you did get them full, then you'll wanna take them out and chop them. I'm just gonna open the can and maybe do a little measuring. And trying not to get all oil. A little of the oil's I think okay. I don't think I want like all the oil. So ½ cup of sun-dried tomatoes we'll measure out too. It's like almost this whole can. Yeah. It's a lot of the can. Okay, that's good to know. Set that aside. Again, a lot of these ingredients are familiar from the other Marry Me recipe. The flavor profile should be similar. I feel pretty good about where we're at. We're about 30 minutes into that marinating, so I'm gonna pull it out. We're gonna head over to the stove and we're gonna start cooking and assembling this. Make sure you have some tortilla shells if you don't already. Make sure they're not, you know, poisoned by wheat if you're allergic to that. But yeah, let's head over there. Okay, so we have a skillet heated up or heating up, and we're gonna add a little olive oil to it. Actually, it looks like I'm pretty much out of olive oil. We're gonna add to that same skillet the 1 pound of marinated chicken that we had and start cooking that. So yeah, you basically just wanna cook your chicken until it's thoroughly cooked through. It does say fully cooked in the recipe that ChatGPT made up. So once it's fully cooked, 5 to 7 minutes, take it off and set it aside. We'll be back when it's a little closer to done. Okay, so as is typical, guys, I got distracted and burnt my chicken just a little, but it's a good kind of burn. I think, you know, it's like blackened chicken. It's fine. it's fine. It's not so burnt that it's not savable. I'm gonna add a little more olive oil though. A little olive oil, hopefully calm down the heat a little bit. It must have gotten really hot. It's not burnt to the point where it's bad. It's still like a decent little, it's a little char on a few pieces, but most of them look fine. So I think we're okay. I would have preferred to not do that though, if I had to be honest with you. This is interesting because normally in Marry Me chicken, you just put salt and pepper and flour on the chicken. And this one, it's got you doing like a full mix of fajita seasonings. Like this is a fajita level chicken that I would cook when I'm making fajitas. So it really is kind of combining the two worlds, fajita and Marry Me chicken. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how it turns out and how the flavors meld together. I am checking the temp of the chicken with like a little javelin kind of thingy. One day I'll do links down below, like things that I use all the time. My little Ninja processor and my javelin temperature thingy. I should do that so you guys can find them. You know, the must-haves of the kitchen of AI-ness. Still thinking about changing that name though. What would you say this channel should be named? It really feels like people have trouble finding it with that name on the channel. All right, so our chicken's all at 165 degrees. I'm gonna take it off and set it aside. Then into that same pot, maybe add a little more, I just spilt the olive oil everywhere. A little more olive oil, and then our onions and peppers. Look at that, I've got oil fingers. Let me go wash my hands. And honestly, it's more of the same, guys. We're just gonna heat these up like we did the chicken. Peppers, onions, etc., for like 7-8 minutes. And while that happens, I'm gonna start working on the actual sauce itself. So I'm gonna do a little shuffle. I'm gonna move, because that's not that exciting to watch well, I mean, we've all seen onions and peppers cooked before. Very thrilling, but let's start working on the sauce in this other skillet in your sight line so we can actually get this thing going. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of butter. I'm using softened butter, but you don't have to, it's just what I have. To this skillet, melt it down, and then we're gonna add our minced garlic. Add the minced garlic, and we're gonna make that fragrant with the butter for probably 2 minutes or so, 1 to 2 minutes. Until it's nice and fragrant. Set up. Now this is gonna be our Marry Me sauce for the fajitas. You'll have to ignore the very loud sound of the peppers and onions cooking in the background while we cook up this garlic, which says 1 minute for it to become fragrant. Basically, when it starts to smell like garlic, cooking garlic, you're probably ready to add the next thing. All right, so my garlic is nice and fragrant. We're gonna add in our heavy cream and our chicken stock, which you'll remember we already measured out. It's a cup of heavy cream, half cup of chicken stock. Also a partridge in a pear tree, if you happen to have one, would probably go well with this. Not that you should eat partridges. That's not the message I'm trying to get across. Stir that up a little bit until it simmers. Well, you don't need to stir it till it simmers, but you want to bring it to a simmer. Continue to stir your peppers and onions over on the other side. Okay, my milk is definitely simmering hardcore. Let me turn down the heat a little bit. I don't want it to burn, because that can happen. So now we want to add the grated Parmesan cheese and the sun-dried tomatoes. Again, since we did all this ahead of time, we're like super prepared. So add those and mix it in, like so. That'll cool it off a little too. I feel like it was getting too hot. You don't want the sauce to break. And now we want to add to our sauce half a teaspoon of dried basil leaves, which is what this is right here, basil. Also half a teaspoon of thyme. Again, very similar to like any Marry Me chicken recipe, thyme, basil. These are similar flavor profiles. And also a half a teaspoon of dried parsley. So parsley, thyme, and basil, all 3 of them dried, half a teaspoon, add them in. And continue to let the sauce simmer for like 3-4 more minutes while it starts to firm up a little. Now over on the other side, I'll give you a little sneak peek here at our peppers and onions. They're looking good. We got a slight char on them. I'd call these pretty much done. And what it says to do now is to add the chicken back into that. So here's our friend, the peppers and onions. Here's our buddy, the chicken. They're all friends of ours. We're well associated in the food world. Mix that all together. And it says to try to keep it warm. I feel like we have too many peppers and onions for the amount of chicken we have, so maybe double the chicken. It called for 1 pound of chicken. Maybe do 2 pounds of chicken because, again, not enough chicken, but that's okay. We'll just end up with extra peppers and onions. And I'm not feeding an army today, just a few people. Now at this point, just set your peppers and onions aside with your chicken. Just let it stay warm. You can put it in an oven if you have an oven-safe dish you're using. I like the super low temp, like 175, just until the sauce finishes. Me, I'll just leave it on that same eye, turn off the eye, and it'll stay warm for a little bit because the eye is still super hot. I can still hear it sizzling, actually. My heat's off and I can still hear it sizzling, so that gives you an idea. So the next and final thing that I would generally do when making a fajita is heat up my tortilla. So I feel like my sauce is pretty thick now. We're almost done. I'm gonna move back over to the main kitchen view. We're gonna move the cameras over, and then we're gonna try this because this is basically done at this point. I'm gonna leave the sauce simmering, keep these peppers and onions and chicken warm, and we're gonna assemble and try and see if this is like the new greatest Marry Me recipe. It might be, guys. All right, guys, we are back, and this Marry Me fajita stuff is all good to go. There's the sauce, there's the peppers and chicken. Again, a little too much pepper to chicken ratio. We're gonna take a fajita. We're gonna actually assemble one. Now, some of it's already missing. My family was leaving the house, and my wife wanted to try it. She was very excited about it because she loves Marry Me anything. And so she was like, let me have some before I go, and she took some and she said it was amazing. So I have not tried it yet. I exclusively held on to this until I recorded. But yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it comes out. So, I mean, so far, again, looks like a fajita. No complaints there. Very fajita-y. So we take the chicken and we take some of this sauce. And again, this is that Marry Me sauce. And we just kind of pour it on. And it's supposed to be kind of wet, a wet sauce. It's not gonna be like a super dry fajita. I'm gonna try it and see how it is, guys. There it is. Marry Me fajita. Top of my head's cut off in this camera, you know, lazy Dave. Let's try it, whatever. Oh, wow. There we go, folks. What does Guga say on Guga Foods? It's delicious. That is so good. So good. Oh my gosh. It's like the ultimate fajita. I'm adding more chicken, more sauce. I want more flavor in each bite. I want more of the same. Oh, don't fall out on me. That works really well together. That's delicious. If you like Marry Me recipes, like Marry Me chicken or steak, you gotta try this. This is excellent. This is a whole new experience for a fajita. I love fajitas. This is like a whole different spin on them. It's definitely worth trying. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.